I'm Connor Northrup, and I'm joined by UFC lightweight Frank Camacho, who's set to take on Matt Frevola at UFC's June 20th event. Frank, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by.
Oh man, dude, thank you so much, dude. It's so nice to be interviewed for a fight, especially during these times.
For sure. And like, what has this time like been like for you too? Like, just during this whole quarantine, what was your situation?
Honestly, I'm very blessed to to I guess to enjoy the quarantine the way that we did. I got to spend a lot of time with my family, my wife, and my two boys, and got to catch up with a lot of house projects and and I just got to stay in shape. I got to figure out ways and get creative with having to keep up with cardio and because I knew there was going to be an opportunity, if I just stay in shape and we could take fights on short notice, and that's
Yeah,
kind of like what happened there.
for sure. And you talked about kind of just being creative with your training. And one thing I wanted to talk to you about too is I actually saw that you had a YouTube channel. And at one point you
Yeah.
had, I think it was just like a wheelbarrow and with rocks, and you were kind of like running up like a slant in your backyard. Like, what has that been like having to kind of resort to maybe these like kind of old school training methods?
So first off, I'm a huge Rocky fan.
Okay.
My second boy, his name is Rocky.
All right.
So yeah, so dude, it's Rocky Four training right there in the islands. I mean, yeah, no snow, no nothing, right? But man, it's Rocky Four, and a lot of house projects that we have to catch up with, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me. I gotta build this rock wall with this wheelbarrow. Yeah, I could load it up in my truck, but you know what? Let me do like 3 5 minute rounds of this. I'll just load that stuff, sucker up, and freaking run it up, and I'll be like, holy shit, my fucking legs are done, and then I would get, with shoveling and all that stuff. So you can only do so much during a quarantine. So yeah, I forced myself to get creative, and then I was like, oh shit, okay, it's just like a little like old school strength conditioning program right now.
Yeah. Was there any other like projects that you had like you turned almost into workouts?
Man, everything, everything. Yeah, I was like, cause it's hot, and I'm like, you know what, might as well let me try to do this. Let me do this for time, so that I always do it for time. Everything for time, And sometimes I'll go hard, and then some days I'll be like, okay, let me do this way or let me do that way, and then I also got into cycling. You know,
Okay.
okay, it was so dope, dude. I got to or not so much cycling, mountain biking. I don't know if it's the
Hmm.
same thing. Got to see some cool areas, on Guam and places that you never really get to see. And dude, 2 hours in, you're doing I don't know miles and so much elevation. Next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, that was a fucking good ass workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, like, obviously it's a different type of biking, but like I know the Diaz brothers have been big on biking for like a long time too. So I mean, can you kind of see that, like, what, like maybe why they back that method up so much?
100%, dude. Like,
Mm.
man, that's your motor right there. And those guys are even more badass. They add swimming and running. I mean, yeah, I run all the time, but swim. I'm an island boy, dude. So you throw me in like I've been in the water since I could walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But but dude, swimming is a whole nother thing. Like I'm trying to muscle stuff out, but there's technique. There's technique how to run. There's technique on the bike.
Yeah.
It's so cool, man. Like I'm so deep into the game, and it just makes me appreciate just physical fitness and longevity. Just after the fighting game.
Yeah. And just going off kind of like what you said too, and before too. I mean, now that you did make kind of these projects around your house, workouts. I mean, are you ever gonna look at chores the same way again?
Dude, yeah, man. So kind of I'm trying to think like, man, when it becomes normal again, it's gonna get kind of weird because this is kind of like the norm. Doing a lot of stuff. What happened too was I knew we were gonna be stuck at home, so I had one of my cousins. He had access to a lot of pallets. So I got a trailer load and then loaded up the trailer with pallets and just started doing like pallet furniture. Dude, I built my no experience with carpentry, right?
Yeah.
So I built like a workbench. I built benches. I I built like an outdoor shed
Wow.
for all my storage. Yeah, and then I built a tree fort for my two boys. So, you know, I was like, man, this thing is getting all crazy. We don't even know how long. Let me work on the skill set. Let me keep myself busy so I don't go wild and go crazy. You know. So it works out. Then I have a skill now that I could save money on house projects at home. Shoot, if I could make some like a little like bench if I need to. We go to the beach or whatever, and it was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, yeah, carpet grips, dude. Holy shit, dude. That's why I know. That's why carpenters have really strong grips.
Yeah, my grandfather was actually a carpenter, so I get that.
Fucking dope, dude. Mad respect. That's an art in itself.
Yeah. I mean, is that something now too that you feel like you'll I mean, especially once your fight career is done too, you'll have more time. But is that something that you'd be interested in, like doing more like projects like that around the house?
Man, I really see it as a hobby. If there's anything, I think down the line, what I would love to do is I would love to be I'm a photographer right now, and I do it part time. And I'd love to take photos for fights or for the UFC or stuff like that. So if you see my YouTube channel, my wife and I we shoot, we edit, we vlog. I love telling stories, man, and it just happens to be that I could tell my story.
Yeah, for sure. And one video I actually wanted to talk to you about, because I saw that you've been doing this for like 11 years. You've been posting videos. But one I thought was really interesting was, I think this was like 10 years ago, but you had a video. It was like a contest submission for a win a trip to UFC 105. And you were kind of like talking about doing that. I mean, like, what's it like to now like work for the UFC?
Man, dude, it's crazy how it comes full circle, dude. Like I've been chasing this thing. Man, see, 10 years. Fuck, that's
Yeah.
I've been chasing this thing for so long that finally when I made it, it was just so surreal. It's really cool, man. It's been a journey, dude. It's been an amazing journey, and it's a story that I could, with the power of technology now, with film and with photos or whatever, and I could really tell my story to people and help people get to reaching their goals.
Yeah. Did you ever win that contest?
I remember shooting like a vlog. I think I was in Maryland when I shot that, right, or something.
I'm not sure.
I don't think I won that.
But yeah, I mean, now too, you're entering, I believe, your third fight at lightweight in the UFC. I mean, how settled in do you feel like you are into that weight class now?
Man, very settled in. Weight has always been an issue for me at 55, but I've been really blessed to have met, the Lockhart and Leaf guys and really built a real good relationship with them, Ian Laros. So, sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm eating my snack right now.
That's all right.
Yeah, so just loading up and just fueling up and just just really really lucky. So now I can make 55. I mean, it's still a grind, but yeah, I'm settled in at this weight class.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing too is like when you look at your UFC career too, and you do look at the losses. I mean, you fought, I mean, some really tough guys. I mean, Jiang Li, Drew Dober, Jeff Neal, Darius. These are all guys that are like very relevant in their weight classes too. I mean, I think 3 out of the 4 actually ranked in the top 15 of their weight classes too. So like, how tough of a run do you feel like you've had since being in the UFC?
Yeah, like thinking about it now, like yeah, that's kind of crazy. Like I fought like some pretty freaking tough guys, dude, and it's kind of cool. It's very humbling, maybe coming from a very small place, from a little small island, and seeing the potential of them matching me up against guys like that. It's like, hey, okay, I'll take that. I mean, man, my record is not the best. You look at it, I'm like, I have a really shitty record in the UFC, but man, I'll always bring it, and I'm trying to get, I promise I'm not trying to get punched in the face. It happens a lot, but I'm trying to go out there with these fights and make it exciting. I love exciting fights.
Yeah. And going off what you just said too, the fact that you have fought tough guys too, do you feel like maybe you might be like a little underlooked because of that? Because they might just like look at the record rather than who those fights were against?
No, not so much. Because I feel like if you're in the UFC and you see my name across the like on the contract, you're gonna be like, oh shit, okay, fuck, yeah, his record's not that great, but fuck, I was like, I like, man, it's gonna be a tough fight, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, like you're like, oh man, I saw his fight against Judo, or I saw his fight against Li Jingliang, in his debut, it's a last minute fight, So yeah, either way, man, it's gonna be a fight. Yeah, my record, like actually, I just got asked about my record the other day, and I was just like, holy shit, like I have a shitload of losses, but just man, just kind of just stay the path and get these W's in and get these good performances in.
Yeah. And you just, you mentioned losses. Your last loss was Dariush. Any big takeaways from that last fight?
Oh man, I didn't lead the dance, and the crank didn't come out. I was way too patient, way too passive, and gave him an inch, and he took a mile. Basically, that's the way I see it, because I could have easily made it if I had just pulled the trigger right off the bat. It would have been a whole different fight.
Yeah. And obviously, we mentioned at the top of the show, but you take on Frevola. What is your kind of opinion on him? How do you feel like you stack up against him?
You see Frevola, right? When I heard the name, I was like, oh hell yeah, dude. The matchmakers know what they're doing with this fight, That wild man just freaking, dude. His name says it all. Steamroller, he's gonna come in and he's gonna, he's not real good at anything, but he knows how to put it all together. He'll slap you around with his hands and with his shots, and he'll go for takedowns, and he will just out grind you, So, and he comes with a big gas tank. So, how do I match up with that? I just gotta go in there and gotta freaking punch him in the face to make him stop,
Yeah.
But what I love about these fights is the cage is smaller, and it's gonna force us to fight even more, And it's gonna be a fun one, man. It's gonna be a very fun fight.
Does that benefit you? Do you feel like a smaller cage?
I'm not too sure. Like I fought or I trained back home. We have a real small cage, like 20 feet or something like that, or 18 feet. Like you're always scrapping. If anything, it kind of forces you to learn how to move your feet and use the fence. But I don't think, man. Here at Extreme Couture, we're training in a case that's probably the same size. It's still pretty big, It's, either way, we're gonna fight anyway.
Yeah. And being the fact too that you trained back home, you said it was like 20 feet. I mean, when you actually first got into the octagon, was it kind of like a big shock?
Yeah, it was huge. I was like, holy shit, dude! Like I could freaking run around this thing for warm ups, Like, dude, it's huge.
Yeah, that's funny. It's like in Step Brothers, where it's so much more room for activities.
I need to watch that movie, man. That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, another thing I want to talk to you too is you did mention the YouTube channel earlier. Why did you kind of start that? Is it because what you said, just that kind of storytelling mentality?
Yes. So man, prior to the UFC, when you're chasing this dream, you're chasing the goal, and fighting in local shows, man, you can't make a living. I knew that I had to make a website. I knew that I had to somehow market myself. But man, I didn't have the flow to pay someone to take my photos. I didn't have the flow to get my story out there. I feel like I come from a very unique place. I have a very unique fighting style. I'm a very unique personality, and what best way to really maximize that and learn how to do it via the internet. That's how I got into all of it. And then so now the reason I got into it was so that I could somehow get sponsorships. And then eventually I started to learn that I was like, oh, wow, man, wow, you want to pay me to take photos at your wedding? You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, so all these different things. And at the end of the day was so that I could build my own schedule and have the freedom to continue to train and to continue to chase a dream. Happens to be like now, it just works in my favor. I get to really tell the story of where I come from. You know, I'm a proud island boy. I get to represent, you know, at the UFC level, and
Yeah.
yeah, help with like, you know, like just all the little expenses of fight camp, and you know, just help the team and help the sponsors that help me.
Yeah. And obviously, like as a fighter, you know, you're trying to improve, you're trying to get bigger fights. But as a YouTuber too, I mean, how have you seen like your videography and videos improve? You know, since you know when you first started.
Oh, exponential. It's just like anything, right? You just got to put in your reps. You know, the only way you're gonna get better at, with interviews and podcasts is just gotta get these interviews in. You know, you just gotta keep getting in. How do you deal with different personalities? How do you deal with someone that's just so quiet and timid? How do you have them engage more? You know, so all these different things, right? Just getting these reps in, man. And so right now it's like 3 o'clock right now. You know, I haven't updated an episode of what it was like to travel from Guam all the way to California, but yeah, so I'm gonna get on my laptop and just start editing some stuff, you know, because and it's really about the journey, man. Really about the journey, the relationships, and the experiences, you know, and what a way that we can engage through that via the internet, you know, dude, right here on my phone.
Yeah.
So just fascinated with telling stories, dude, and eventually would like to do that, you know, for, you know, after fighting. Shit, I'm doing it during fighting.
And then one of my last questions too, Frank, is, you know, on June 20th, you know, how do you re-enter that win column? How do you get the victory on June 20th?
Man, I would like to say first round knockout, first round finish. But man, he's a tough freaking guy, dude. So I have to just stay sharp and stay ready. But I definitely see myself getting the win, whether it's a knockout or if it's a decision. I just got to go out there and I got to earn it, and I got to work for it, and I got to earn it. So with that being said, it's gonna be a freaking killer ass fight.
The way you're talking about this fight too, I mean, do you feel like there's like some like fight of the night like potential there?
You know, people always ask me that. You know, my first 3 fights got fight of the night bonuses back to back to back. Truthfully, I'm not trying to get no fight of the night. You know, it's just like, oh my god, like it's just so much punishment. You know, give me a performance of the night. But everyone is tough. I can't underestimate no one. And fuck, dude, he's a steamroller, bro. You know, I just gotta bring my A game and stick to my guns and really impose my will.
Yeah. All right, Frank. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're in Vegas, so, you know, and editing, you're a busy guy, so I appreciate it, and I wish you the best.
Man, Connor, thank you so much, man. Just keep at it, dude, and man, I love the show. Freaking right on.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.